And speaking of Mr. Tat, our Mr. Tat for today, my response to a tweet for today was, why can't people see the clear double standard in politics when it comes to forgiveness? And my response is basically this. Do you understand the concept of a pass? Say, we're going to give a person a pass. We're going to give you a pass. Why? Because there were circumstances that happened prior to you coming into control or power or taking the job. There were circumstances that happened prior to. And so you might be a couple of weeks in, you might be a month in or something of that nature, but there was something that happened prior to you that they have to take in consideration. So the full brunt of the responsibility or the discipline says you get a pass. We're not going to consider that it's messed up now because there were things that happened prior to this happening on your watch where you're deemed a pass. And so in politics, the double standard is this. The liberals ask for a pass, but they never want to give a pass. When it comes to giving forgiveness or giving a pass, no, they want you to be held accountable for your mistake and they want heads to roll. They want you to be fired. But when it comes to them, they want a pass. Like Barack Obama. He comes into office, he comes to President of the United States, and from day one, he's saying, you got to give me a pass on the economy because of the extenuating circumstances prior to me becoming president. 6 months after he was elected, you got to give me a pass because it's George Bush's fault. 2 years later, you got to give me a pass because it was George Bush's fault. 7 years later, here they are still asking for a pass because it was George Bush's fault. When are you ever going to start taking responsibility for the decisions that you're making that are not panning out and people are suffering from? So you're asking for a pass continuously, but you can't give one. See, because that's what liberals do. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. They can ask for forgiveness, but they can't give it. It's a liberal trait. So fast forward to now. We have just experienced 7 going on 8 years of people that can't take responsibility for their actions. But when it comes to the responsibilities for their actions, they're always asking for a pass. They can bring up the extenuating circumstances why they shouldn't receive the full brunt or discipline nature of their decision making. So if it's a liberal trait, why is it difficult for us to contribute this trait to Donald Trump, for instance? Donald Trump is asking for a pass. Say, for instance, his bankruptcy. He's left people hanging. He's left without paying his debt off. He used the legal realm for doing it. But when it comes to all the thousands upon thousands of people that he left hanging in order for him to save his wealth, or for him not to lose so much, he created way more losers than him losing. And he wants a pass for that. He wants you to look at the extenuating circumstances as what? Atlantic City was a failure. And so he's great. Atlantic City was a failure. You got to give me a pass on that. You got to give me, I used the legal ramification. That's a good business move. Yeah. So it was great for him as business. But what about the people he left hanging? It wasn't great for them. So when it comes to making business decisions, he's cool. But when it comes to being held accountable for the people that he messed up in their lives so he can make sure he stayed rich, he wants a pass. But then he's not willing to give a pass. Example, George Bush, the World Trade Center happened 8 months after he come in. Donald Trump is not willing to take the extenuating circumstances that happened prior to Bush that just happened to take place on his watch. But Donald Trump doesn't want to give him a pass. He wants one, but he can't give one. See, this is what you got to understand. And I'm only saying this so that we don't fall for the same pick and the poke, so we have 4 more years of Obama liberalism logic. Donald Trump was a liberal a lot longer than he has been a conservative. And those liberal ways is what's being demonstrated. He wants a pass, but he can't give one. And can't you see what's happening? He can't hide from who he really is. He's trying, and people are willing to give him a pass. Why? Because he was the first one to come out to not sound politically correct. Fine, Donald Trump, you get kudos from me from that. But I can't give you a pass on your liberalism. It's showing in your tax policy, you're liberal. It's showing in your eminent domain ideology, you're liberal. It's showing in the fact that you can dish it out, but you can't take it. You're liberal. But everybody's so excited because why? You spoke up. Guess what, guys? Liberals speak up too. You ever listen to a liberal? When it comes to attacking a Republican, they don't sound politically correct. When it comes to attacking a system that they don't agree with, they don't sound politically correct. But see, you're willing to give them a pass. You conservatives are willing to give this liberal a pass. And we're going to end up in the same spot that we're in for the next 4 years, if not worse. A narcissistic, all about me, I'm the greatest, you're the worst, you're the ugliest, you're the dumbest, you're the thickest glasses, you're the fattest body, you're jacked up, and I'm awesome, I'm great, I'm wonderful, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's what the president said. See, we're falling for the same trick again. Guess what, Donald? I can't give you a pass. I'm sorry. Our country is too much in trouble for me to consider giving you a pass. I can't give you a pass on your conservatism. Why? Because you haven't been doing it long enough. So I can't give you a pass. You've been a liberal a lot longer than you've been a conservative. And so that's my response to the tweet on the Phil Williams show.